Good evening. Welcome to the marriage classroom. We are always glad to be here to learn and also from one another, also from the teachers. But I believe that we have learned a lot and will continue to learn, okay? And so never give up learning, because now that you're in the institution of marriage, remember, you are given the certificate before you learned how the marriage works, isn't it? So we will continue learning. So welcome our viewers watching us through the media, social media, whether YouTube, Facebook, or even TikTok. TikTok might be very brief, but it's okay. Wherever you're watching us from, whether it's TV, we welcome you. Let's learn together. And you can even call your friend and tell them, ile kipindi nimekuwa nikikwambia, leo iko on. And then they tune on. And so we are going to start off with a word of prayer from one of us. And I would just request a sister to pray.
Tuamini na tuombe. Mungu Baba Mwenyezi, tumekuja mbele zako jioni ya leo tukikushukuru tukisema ni asante. Baba, tazama saizi tunapoanza mafunzo yetu, tunajiweka mikononi mwako Jehova. Anza nasi na umalize pamoja nasi. Tunahitaji neema yako ya kuanza na hata kumaliza. Uinuliwe, uhimidiwe Baba, kwa kuwa wewe ndio muweza wa yote. Tunajikabidhi mikononi mwako wakati huu. Bariki walimu wetu hata tukianza. Baba, wape neema na kibali chako. Na ni katika jina safi la Yesu Kristo tumeamini na kuomba.
Amen. Asante sana. Tunashukuru kwa sababu tunajua doa ilianzishwa na Mungu, na yeye mwenyewe ndiye anaweza kutusaidia kujua vile tutaendesha. Si ni kweli? He said two are better than one, and also said a man should leave his father and mother. That means it's something that is good. So wakati hata gari yako imeharibika, huwa tunarudishia nani? Mechanic. Au even the manufacturer anatusaidia. Kama guarantee unaona haijaisha, unamwambia hii ulinipea na ukaniambia inaenda miaka 5, lakini imeharibika ikiwa na mwaka mmoja. Anakwambia sasa mimi ndio najua pahali pengine kulikuwa na shida hapa. So ni vizuri every time tukijua ya kwamba doa ni Mungu alianzisha, kukiwa na jambo ni vizuri turudi kwa Mungu. Na that's why we pray and ask the Lord to help us and to teach us, isn't it? Because we are all learning. Yes, tumekuwa tukijifunza. Wiki kadhaa zimepita au miezi imepita juu ya stages of marriage. Tumeendelea, tulianzia na ya kwanza na tukasema ilikuwa gani? Tukumbushane, najua ni zamani. Moja ya kwanza ilikuwa yes, honeymoon. Naona mnasikiza na pengine wengine mmekuwa mkiwatch. So honeymoon or sometimes a fantasy stage. Na tukaongea juu ya mambo ile inakuanga huko, na tukamalizia hapo. Tukaenda stage ya pili. Wow, thank you. I wish we had the mic near. Ukiongea unachukua mic ili nao wale wako nje wanatusikiza huko watuelewe. So tumesema settling down or cooperation stage, yeah? So cooperation, kwa sababu at this stage we must cooperate. Now tumetoka up there from the moon where rubber meets the road. Now we have to start making life together, isn't it? Tumetoka kwa moon, tumekuja settling down. We must understand now. Children are coming, things are changing, so we are settling down. Then we came to the third stage, which we have really dwelt there. Yes, let me get it from Constance. Kindly.
This illusionment.
Sawa. Umejaribu, najua wakati mwingine tunaweza kaganywa na matamchi na matamchi. Kama unatoka kwetu matamchi. Okay, chida ya matamchi unasema disillusionment. So disillusionment is not that we said, although the word looks like it's negative, it's because sometimes it's like this is where reality seems to first dawn, okay? You got married, first 2 years here, we are talking about 3 to 5 years here, cooperation stage, watoto wadogo, wanaenda nursery na nini. Lakini disillusionment is where majukumu ni mengi, watoto sasa hata wamefika kiwango ya teenager mpaka hata nao wameanza kutoa pembe, you know. you are getting a little bit decision of the things that, as he was explaining in the last lesson, mwalimu alikisema juu, even sometimes tumefika pahali ya midlife crisis, at our 40s, 45, and it's like hata decisions zetu zile tulimake za career na nini zinakaa zinatusubua. So we dwelt a little bit on this, and that's why we were looking at the ills that affect this stage. That's why it is called disillusionment. And we have dwelt there. And to remind us again, very, very fast, because it's good to review a lesson so that we know where we going. It's from the known to the unknown. So what are those ills? We said some of the things that, the ills that plague this stage, mpaka inakuwa na shida hiyo ya decisionment. We don't have to have the order, lakini ukikumbuka jambo uniambie. Anainua mkono, tafadhali tumpe kipasa sauti kama iko karibu na wewe. Haya. Tukasema
Familiarity.
yes, kuna familiarity hapa. Tuendelee. Very fast.
Boredom.
Boredom. Mingine.
Defensive.
Yes, we become defensive. Oh.
Criticism.
Yes, criticism. Hawa wapea mic wamesema jambo pamoja.
Stonewalling.
Yes, iko on.
Contempt.
Contempt. Another one.
Stonewalling.
Yeah, stonewalling. Anything else? From there, which we said can result if all these things are not, and that's what we've been dwelling on the last 3 weeks of the lesson. Yes, give Joseph.
Infidelity.
Yes. Now, the other ill that can plague this stage is, and it's not that it is exclusive here, inaweza kuwa hata mapema au katikati au mwishoni, but we are saying the stage that is prone to having some of these issues. When people are disillusioned, do you know what happened? Wakati mwingine badala ya kujiuliza ni nini haifanyi kazi, ni kutafuta jingine. Si ni kweli? Somebody said you go looking for new beginnings. Na unafikiri your beginning itakuwa tofauti na ile ulikuwa nayo. What I say is, instead of a new beginning, have a happy ending. Tegeneza ile uko nayo, na you will have your Cinderella story if there is. They lived happily ever after. So we have been looking at infidelity, because sometimes it also plagues this stage because of some of the things that are there. But now I want us to move on now to the other fourth stage now. We already have looked and dwelt on this. So we already have caught up. That's what I call in teaching practice. We call it lesson review. Okay? Then from there we go now to the main body of the lesson. And that is, we are talking about stage 4. Anyone who can remember what is stage 4? Yes, Nelson. Give Nelson the mic.
Yes, it is an adjustment stage.
Correct. Thank you. It is now called the adjustment. Now, adjustment, even from the word, what does it mean to adjust?
Adjust where there was a problem. Munaanza kupunguza sasa hizo problems. Tuna adjust ile weakness tulikuwa nayo, tunaanza kuachana nayo sasa.
Okay.
Yes.
We can have that is Stevie.
Adjust, we conform to the norms. And you try to fit into the situations. Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to fit into how things are going once you have been able to talk through.
Thank you. Thank you. So, yes, according to the stage as it is, to adjust means, I saw Constance was trying to do like this. Now, what we mean by adjusting is when you find some things are not fitting, there is a way you can try to make them fit, as he says, to the norm. Okay, there are those things you realize they are now becoming like they are off. So what you do, let them fit, okay? Adjustment can also mean like the way unaweza endesha gari, unakuta brakes haishiki. What do you go to do? For adjustment. Kuna vile inakazwa kidogo au inapanguzwa, okay? So inaweza shika vizuri. That is still adjustment, okay? Unaweza tumia kitu naona nut zimekuwa loose, so what you do? Unakuwa. So what happens? In this stage, when we are from that stage of disillusionment, where there are all those ills, and now we have reached this stage where now, tunasema tuamue vile tutaenda. Okay? So in this stage, we say it is sometimes more peaceful, but it's a consequence. That's what we call it adjustment. It is as a result or a consequence of the third stage. Because at the end of it, once you are through all those, if there was infidelity and we have forgiven one another, we must chart our way forward. It may not be like the way it was, but now we have decided, okay, somebody has said, no, I made wrong decisions. Please forgive me. You have to adjust and move on, okay? If there were those issues of where there was contempt, there was criticism, there was stonewalling, we ask ourselves, hivi ndivyo tutaishi? Tukinyamaziana na hakuna mtu anajali mwingine. If we are going to move on, then we must change, isn't it? This is where now adjustment has to come. Now, and so we are saying it is a consequence of the third stage. That's why we are calling it adjustment. So sometimes it has even been called the stage of reconciliation. And that is a very beautiful word. Because it's more like, hey, tumeenda through the storms. Can we now just ask ourselves, now we are in this together. How do we want to move on? Na turudi kama, you know the way people sit down and say, najua sasa, we are not becoming younger. Okay? Naweza kuwa si vile ungependa, au naona kama, this is not the woman of your dreams, or the husband of your dreams. But now, are we going back to the market? Will I be the same way? Kama kipara imekushika vile tuliambiwa, utapanda nywele? Urudi soko tena uonekane yule kijana msichana. If you are fat as a wife, unless ukate nyama zingine hivi ili uende asili mazabai, you realize it is not the same way we were, isn't it? So sometimes there are people who just decide, okay, this is what has become of us. Can we do this? Each one of us has changed. Let's see how we are going to move on. Okay? So, in this, we say by the time we reach this stage, reconciliation, why we are calling it reconciliation, is because people have shared a lot together. Whether it is the history, what else have they shared together? Remember, by this time we have said it's going to the stage of 20 years. We have gone where we are weathering the storms of the children, teenager, midlife crisis. So tumoko hapo 40s, 45 to 50. Watu wanakaa chini wanakubaliana, what do we do? What are the histories they have shared together? Let's get the mic, or you raise your voice, it's okay. One of the things is you've grown
Together.
old together. Let's use the word old. Okay, not the very old. I'm saying is we have history. Yeah, so, oh yes, not old. We have aged together. So, then any other that they share?
The possibility of children.
Okay.
Possibility of children.
True. Now, they share the fact that they have children between them, isn't it? That is something that they cannot erase. It is part of their history together. So in this case, they already have children. Sorry. They have children. What else? Just, it's okay?
Secrets.
Yes, they already have secrets. Let's say there were issues in their marriage, and there was either there was an infidelity which they solved. They already share a secret or some secrets, things that have gone within them. Maybe there was that time there was uliacha mtoto ukaagusha, uliachua mtoto ukaagusha ukiona TV. Nikajua, you don't have to go tell your mother or your mother-in-law. But okay, I'm saying some of the secrets that we have. because there are those bladders we did together or alone and you came to know. Something else? Yes, Nelson?
Yes, unresolved conflict.
Yes, we have those conflicts, sometimes unresolved. It's good to use the word unresolved because still from the third stage. So we have those unresolved conflicts that may also be part of what we are sharing.
You've grown financially together.
Yes, you also have investment. Remember, even beyond whether we are having issues of contempt and all that and familiarity, could even the familiarity imekuja kwa sababu tuko na pesa, kila mtu ako na gari yake, hatugojeani. So mambo mingine tuko na microwave, usinisubue nikuamshie, nikuwekee chakula moto. Siku na microwave. Ati unataka nikupelekee maji bafu. Na kuna shower, hot shower. Yes. Someone wanted to say something else? You can see some of the, as he says, finances, we have grown financially together. And maybe those are some of the things that even have cost us to have some conflict. We seem to have multiple things. I don't have to always ask you, wait for me, take me out. I have a car, okay? I have my money and all that. And I have my money, I can go and buy a dress, you don't have to buy for me. You see, some of those things, you almost think like you can live independently of one another, yet you had started below zero, below sea level. Okay? Yes, after starting below sea level, tunajikuta hapa. So anything else? We have history together? Hata chakula, tumezoea zetu zile tunakulanga. Tell us, Constance, yes? Okay.
Eating habit.
Yes. Now, the things that we eat or the habits, I like that because sometimes we come like in a cross marriage. Have you realized sometimes you come saying, mimi napendanga hii, kwenu mnapendanga hii, na mwingine anasema sisi tunakulanga waru na machakula na mahidi kodani na maharagwe na miji mpaka jahe. Okay? Halafu, if it is then we can't be eating that if the man does not like. So we may end up having our own value ugali. Iko na machakula kidogo na pengine omena kidogo. Kama tutaweka omena kwa githeri ni sawa, ba lakini upate omena yako na mimi nipate githeri yangu. So at the end of it, we seem to have some history, a good history together. And sometimes people say, no, that one we can't lose it. Badala ya kutafuta a new beginning, we can have a happy ending. Are we together? So, in this stage, now, the issue is this. Not all couples or not all relationships sometimes end at the stage where they say, we can continue with this history. It is good. Some of it could be, as we are looking at the unresolved conflict, there may be so much of bitterness. It's a bad taste from the disillusionment stage so that they almost wonder, should we continue with the same? So at this time of contemplating in adjustment, whether we want to reconcile or we want to move on, now, because of the history that they share, and this is, we are looking at it more on the positive, but you know very well, it can be very bad history. Okay? There could be scars that have been, gotten from that stage. So at this, for this stage, as they look back at their history, maybe they must make a decision. What next? Okay? So decisions must be made, or we say difficult choices. And as they look at the future, sometimes there are 3 possible options in this stage of adjustment. Yes? There was a question? Okay. So there are 3 possible options. Anyone who has an idea? So the options that could be here, the first option, yes, Nelson. Unajua yule mwanafunzi anasomanga mbele ya mwalimu. au aliiba kitabu ya mwalimu. Anyway, yes, Nelson.
Maybe let's say one of the outcomes, resignation is the one of them.
Yes, resignation. Resignation. You will tell me what resignation is about. Constance tuko umeibia hiyo. Okay.
Ni wale wanafunzi wanakopi mpaka jina.
Mpaka jina. Karibu anasema ni Nelson kwa sababu unakopi mpaka jina. Haya tupate anyone? Yes, we can have the resignation. Second one could be yes, contentment. Wewe ukisikia contempt ilikuwa contentment. Sio ukuibia vizuri, ukusikia vizuri mpaka ukasema jina isiyo kwako. Haya. Ya tatu, the other options, we look at each of them. Yes, thank you. Dissolution. Umepewa answer, umesoma bere? Okay. Good. So those are the three possible outcomes of this adjustment. As we look, as we said, it is a consequence or a result from the third stage. From what they have shared, from all that they have gone through, those 15 years and going to 20, maybe they have all this, wealth, they have these children, they have this. And maybe during the midlife crisis, there was an issue, there was a real crisis. Somebody maybe went out of the marriage. Pengine kuna mtoto outside the door. Au kuna mwingine anasema hata mimi nataka kuolewa katika hii nyumba. All that. So with all those things coming out from the stage, that stage, now they must make a decision. And although, we would wish that they make the best, mostly sometimes you find there are some who opt for others. Let's look at each one of them. And we can start maybe with one of the fastest option people think about. And maybe we look at the first one, the third one, dissolution. Anyone to tell me what dissolution means? And tell our viewers.
That is a situation whereby either one or both decide to dissolve the marriage.
Yes.
If there was a formal marriage, they decided to divorce. Yeah.
Yes, dissolution, as he says, it is where one or both parties, it could be either of them, opting out, deciding, I'm not going on with this marriage, the far it has reached, I can't bear it anymore, and there is the dissolution. The dissolution can be done through the courts, as we say, if it was a legal marriage or it has been legalized, and they have to file for a divorce, there are the hearings and all that. And one thing I realized, even though people really look forward or always think divorce is so easy, I realized that in the Constitution of Kenya, the part of I'm forgetting can you help me? About
Is it the Constitution of the Marriage Act?
The Marriage Act. It is more for reconciliation, because it is it's the last alternative. Before the court tells you no, you have enough ground, you must have exhausted all the alternatives of reconciliation. So if you're in church, they will first send you back to the church. Seek counsel, try to see whether you can, until you come and say there are
irreconcilable differences.
But just to say so and so, even though it is that infidelity, yes, the scripture talks about in case of unfaithfulness, but the law of Kenya will not be so easy to grant you a divorce. They will first tell you, can you go and see, which faith do you ascribe to? Do you say Christian? They would send you back to church. so that you can be cancelled, because they know there is also the issue of forgiveness. Okay? So it's not like it is always that the court would be always ready to give you a divorce. Yes, Marine.
Even before we go to the issue of the court, I think it is important to recognize that not only the law, but two people who have been joined together.
True.
Anytime that they separate, it's like two papers which have been glued together. Even if they last 1 minute and the papers are not completely dry, trying to remove them, they will never be back to their normal self,
True.
to what they were before you glued them together. Marriage is some kind of glue that joins two people together.
Yeah.
I think people, before they go to that stage, they need to take precaution that they learn wajifunze madhara ya taraka. Kwa sababu wakitarakiana wakati kama huo, ujue ya kwamba hakuna mtu ambaye atarudi vile alivyo. Kwanza uko na history. We have talked about history. You have the issue of having given yourself to that marriage and to the other person. So you are not, hata vile watu wanasema ya kwamba nitaoga nirudi soko. Hakuna, huwezi kuwa hata ukiwa msafi namna gani, huwezi rudi in the former self, in the former self. Ni kama vile mtu ananunua, tuseme for example avocados from the market before they are completely ripened. Hata akienda baadaye after several days aseme nitarudisha hii ni ili nichukue ingine, hiyo avocado haiko ile hali ilikuwa hapo mwanzo. Asante, imefinywa. Kwa hivyo nataka kusema ya kwamba the issue of dissolving a marriage should be as a last resort, not only in law but even in our minds. If we learn madhara yake and how it affects both of them, even if they don't have children, and it is worse on young children.
Thank you. As we say, and it is important that we had looked at first the history, what they have together this far, 5, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, it is not small time. And so there is always that feeling like somebody has wasted your time, you have wasted one another's time, and we cannot go back in time. A lot of baggage, a lot of things, and especially when it comes to children who indeed are part of this marriage, you cannot just say it's only about me. There is also the children. So although dissolution is one of the options, and I'm not saying that this must be the outcome, I think we are clear on this, that this can be, some people opt for it, okay? Whether they are the minority, but we still can say, still divorce is there, isn't it? So we are just talking about what is real, I mean, in the, what is on the real world, but I believe at the end of it, that's what we are adding. What is the best way, isn't it? You remember even Jesus talking about, you know, giving our, no, it's Paul talking about, I show you a more an excellent way. Even Jesus, when he's talking about, it was written, an eye for an eye, okay? You do this, if you hurt me, I hurt you. But he says, no, I want to teach you something else. Because your enemy can do wrong to you, you don't have to do wrong to him, okay? If he's hungry, feed him. That is the opposite of what would be expected by the law. So sometimes we say, if this has happened, he has cheated on me, I cannot remain in that marriage. But what, if you were to ask the Lord, what would Jesus tell you in that situation? Yes. And if then that forgiven is not that the fact that the person just is forgiven, but there is he also willing to have a change in that relationship, okay? Yes, Constance, you have a question?
What about if my life is at danger, or you are living with someone who is very violent?
Yes.
Can you access that divorce to go?
Wacha nijibu hilo.
Yes, you do.
Jambo la kwanza ni, unajua hata ukikaa hapo na huyo mtu ni violent, huenda ikawa you may end up even losing your life.
True.
If your life is in danger, the first thing to go to is not dissolution of the marriage.
Yes.
It is separation.
Yes.
Separation ni pale ambapo watu wawili wanakaa kando mmoja na mwingine ili they evaluate themselves.
Yes.
And they evaluate their situation. Na waone kana kwamba, by the way, generally the courts in Kenya will not go for divorce unless you have been separated for at least 3 years. So in this case, therefore, we are saying, let's not rush to that, even where there is violence. But where there is violence, don't stick.
Endanger, yes.
Where there is either the life of the children or your own life is in danger, you must have, the first thing that you go for is your life. Because you cannot continue in the marriage in life. Safety first. And safety means that you can probably move away from that home, separation, as you try to resolve the conflicts.
So, yeah. So it's si ati unaenda ukiendaga. Unaenda ili watu they consider in a time, maybe by that time you are like, what you call in, you are raising an alarm. People have thought you are all right. Kumekuwa na mambo lakini hutaki kusema. Ukiona sasa imekuwa hatari na mambo haibadiliki, you can just decide, maybe even if you don't want to go home, go to maybe your mentor. Mwambie, by the way, nimekuja kwa sababu things are not all right. Then he listen and then he says, okay, we are going to make a chance. We reach out to him or to her and see whether we can hear also from the other side. That's what we call reconciliation. And that is part of also what is in this stage, adjustment, okay? There is part of that reconciliation. So people can reconcile you, or you yourself, you can decide to reconcile on the same. Tuko pamoja? Okay, so as we say that sometimes people choose to end their union, others, that is through court, or others just separate. And although divorce rates are high, the Bible advocates for reconciliation and forgiveness rather than divorce. Sometimes when we are talking about, the Bible says, beauty for ashes, means there is an exchange, there is a better option than simply exiting, okay? And we are not saying you remain when it is so bad, then after that ukikufa tunauliza, na kwa nini hakusema au ukiumia? Ati mnajua sasa hakuna mtu angenisikiza. No, it's good just to go out and let people listen, they will listen to you. So the next option, we had the 3 options. The other one is resignation. Now, resignation, anyone to help me? Yes, Rono, let's give him the microphone.
Resignation ni mahali ambapo yes bado kwa hiyo ndoa lakini uko hapo kwa sababu ya jambo fulani.
Okay.
Yani for example niseme kwamba niko hapa kwa sababu ya watoto tu. Hivyo basi you are not, yani uko pale physically but spiritually, mentally hayuko kwa ile ndoa tena, ulitoka kitambo, so you are there because of those children, labda kama ni wengi. Yes.
Okay. Get you. Somebody else? Thank you, that is good. Unavumilia kuwa aya.
Si ndio ni kuresign.
Kuresign ni kufanya nini?
Kuresign ni kama mkuu mmeandikiana, unatoa hiyo signature yako, unajiondoa mapema.
That one is a part of like dissolution, but resignation has that different meaning. Okay, just
resignation.
Yes.
Kwa ndoa kuna kuresign kwa sababu nimejaribu kuchukua from my sister kwamba kuna ka contract fulani mlikuwa
adikiana.
So kumaanisha ukiresign mahali ni kumaanisha ulikuwa make contract, nikasema ikifika miaka fulani nitatoka. So I think kwa ndoa sijui kama iko.
Tunasema ni covenant unless now you've gone that way of dissolution, So
hakuna resignation kwa ndoa.
Resignation, what we mean is where maybe Constance Mwalimu tueleze. Where Constance okay. So we are saying that resignation, as he has explained it, you've not left the the marriage or the union, you are in it, but ni ile tunasema bora uhai. Vile amesema you have another reason except the man or except the woman to be in that marriage. Either hutaki kupoteza watoto au ama mali, unajua sasa nikiondoka, unajua nitaenda hivyo tu bila kitu. I will stay.
Sometimes it's a society.
Yes.
Sometimes, and that society includes the church.
Yes.
You can find some people who are in extremely abusive marriages,
Yes,
but because of what will the people say, they are still there, hanging on.
Yes.
Lakini nothing is changing. The toxic environment is still there.
Yes.
And they are still there. And I think that is not a good thing.
It's not a good thing. Yes.
I'm adding on mwalimu that historia, what will the society say, my family watasema aje, that hiyo ndio imefanya watu wengi they end up being killed, they end up losing their children kwa sababu you fear watasema nini.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. That fear is true. As we are saying, there are those things that they seem to keep you there. You already have resigned. You've given up on the marriage that you'd ever recover or change, but you stick there. Smiling, hata pasta akitembea. Hello, hata unaweza mwita honey, utakunywa nini? Lakini akitoka. Sasa ulikuwa unajifanya hapa nini and all that things like go back to the default state. You know, people have resigned to be in a marriage that is not working. Here tunasema you are enduring, because the problem, and it is good to say, as Marima said here, even challenging us as Christians, ya kwamba sometimes we are the people that are making other people not to admire what marriage is. Why? We show something that is this way and the other. You know, a lot of contradictions. Yes, we take wine and preach water, and our children see every fakeness in that marriage. They see the every pretense. They know you are a preacher, wewe ni mama kanisa, na ukienda nyumbani baba unajua anajikuja, na wewe uko pale unaambia the women be submissive to your husbands, you know, and all that. Lakini wanajua nyumbani baba hata hana sauti. Tell me what will happen to those kids, because it is us that we need to be the screensaver even of the church and the marriage. But if our marriage are not working, we are enduring other than enjoying. We can't pretend. And that's why we are here in the marriage classroom. Instead of resigning, tuwe in that marriage, because our society, the church, they expect us. Si tulioa katika kanisa, mbele ya washahidi wengi. Sasa watasemaje? Halafu? But for the others, the world, they just opt out. Dissolution, and they separate. But for the church, we stay there, but yet we are harming one another. And the most innocent victims are our children. Okay. Give her the microphone. We need to hear you. Before we go to the third last stage.
Is this resignation the same like I had some people, I found them when they told me the husband and the wife, they are fathers, now they are parents, both sides. Their marriage, they came into a marriage because they were their business, their parents' business, walikuwa waifanye iendelee. So, is it the same with this one? Tuko kwa marriage kwa sababu tunataka our business zao.
Those are other motives, objectives, I don't know. Because this, we are saying adjustment is a result of the other stages. So that in this case, when we are looking at resignation means there are things that are not working, but we are in it, or we are going to stick in it. But the others, if that's what they made them to come to marriage, because sababu yule ako na married to really, that is different. Okay?
Let's just mention something on that, because it has come up.
Yes.
the reason why people came together, they are valid. Kuna sababu nyingi sana ambazo watu walioana. Na sio kusema ya kwamba njia moja ama sababu moja ni bora kuliko ile ingine. Kuna watu ambao walikuja pamoja kwa sababu mtu alikuwa ameachwa na wazazi wake, yeye ni yatima, na kwa hivyo alikuwa akitafuta tu mtu yeyote ambaye wataishi na yeye. Na yule alimproposia kwanza akajua huyu ndiye. Kuna wengine kabisa walikuja kwa ajili ya mali. Zama za babu zetu walikuwa wanatafutiwa wake zao. Sio ya kwamba walikuwa na nini, walikuwa na that emotional attachment, ati ile tunasema mapenzi, lakini walikuwa bado wanakaa pamoja. Kile ambacho kinastahili kufanyika ni ya kwamba hata hawa wakiwa walikuja kwa ajili ya wazazi wao, wajue wako pamoja, na kwa hivyo they make their marriage work regardless of what brought them together.
Thank you. So we are saying that tusikae katika hiyo doa kwa sababu ya bora uhai au bora the reason that makes us. Sometimes there is the conclusion, or we think that I'm not destined to enjoy marriage. This is the best that it can be, even though it is bad. So we resign ourselves to that and make no effort to make it better. Nasikia ni ile tu tumezoea, tuachane na yeye, mimi nimezoea makelele. You don't even want to make it better. Okay? And so what happens is that you continue to fail to enjoy your marriage because you have resigned. But the last stage, which is the best and the one to celebrate, is the contentment.
The last option.
The last option and the best option. Yes, Nelson, let's give.
Okay, this is a stage whereby they come together now, the couples, to bring out their resolutions. And now maybe despite what they have been undergoing or the life of marriage they have experienced, they wanakuwa satisfied in your life, wanajikubali, they wanakubali kile walicho nacho, and then they restore back their joy. Yes.
Wow, karibu niseme uliona notes zangu lakini huko umezipata, but it is true that this is where the couple sit down and decide now to continue and now navigate through the challenges. Okay? This is where life has brought us. We are here, but we need to move on. How do we move on? You resolve the differences, as he says, and the conflicts. Let not them be piled up, the unresolved ones, okay? This is the time we say enyewe kuna hii jambo, situkae tutatue, okay? Kama kuna hii issue ya maybe our parents, kuna hii issue ya, so let's now face it. Then work out our differences, and this is where, as we say, sometimes it reaches a place, kama ilikuwa imefika pahali baya, kama infidelity, or there was issues of where there were conflict, you can seek what we call the third party. And this third party, see yule kama sometimes your parents, we would wish that you get somebody who is in the middle. You can go to a friend or your best couple, talk to them. They help you. Before you go to a psychiatrist, unless you are umeruka kichwa. But the first thing, maybe you wanted to say a psychotherapist, not psychiatrist. You wanted to say something.
Yeah, I wanted to say one of the, especially in the African context, one of the things that bring issues of disillusionment, and they bring us to, or rather they bring couples to the state where they almost feel like ending the marriage, is in the African context is lack of children in the marriage. Na ndio unasikia hususan kwa sababu Afrika walikuwa wameamua, wamejua kulingana na imani zao ya kwamba yule mtu ambaye hapati watoto ni mke, ni mke sio mume. Unakuta hiyo mume ametafuta mke wa pili, na ama ndio ile tulikuwa tukisema even infidelity, one of the causes of infidelity ni hiyo ya ukosefu wa watoto katika ndoa. Na kwa hivyo kile ambacho ikifika hii stage na ifike uamuzi sasa inakuwa kuwa ya kwamba kuna jinsi mingi ya kupata watoto na kuna watoto wengi ambao wanahitaji wazazi. Sasa tufanye namna gani? Either tuende in the scientific way whereby there is what we call the test tube babies, ama kutoka hapo tuende tuende kwa Children's Hope adopt watoto watakuwa wetu. Na Waafrika wengi wanastahili kujua ya kwamba watoto hawanunuliwi. Unajua watu in the village wanasema wale watoto wa kununuliwa. Sio watoto wa kununuliwa, ni watoto wa kuwa adopted. Na kwa hivyo ikifika hiyo stage, we have decided to offer adoption to some children, and we end up having children of our own. Not necessarily biological, but children who can experience love and care, even in our family.
Thank you. So at this time, as we even Nelson said, na vile mwalimu anasema, ni kwamba hilo mambo ilikuwa imeleta conflict. Kama ni kukosa watoto, kama ni kukosa pesa, kama ni nini. This is where we sit down and ask ourselves, how are we going to go forward? Okay, yes, you want this, but what do we have? Can we see what we do? At this time, when the people are able to reconcile, then they are able to move on. What happens? They are able to get what we call insight into their marriage. Ni kama wanaangalia ndani. Why we use a therapist, maybe a counselor, or maybe a mentor, or a friend, okay? Hata mukiwa pamoja, atakuwa kama referee. Unajua sasa mnaendanga, ukienda kwa wazazi wangu, wanaweza egemea pande yangu. Wanaone kama alienda kunigandamiza. Okay? Halafu tukienda kwa wazazi wao, wasikie mambo yako, wanasema hata tulikuwa tunamwambia msichana wake Abu kitabo tulimwambia. Sasa hata baada ya kuona mashida yangu au ile iko mti inaniangukia kwa sababu wanaona. That's why we say if possible, relatives should be the last people to kindly look for your best couple, because you was for both, they were for both, they listen to you, all of you. Go to a counselor if possible, maybe even a pastor, and once they listen to you now, they are like referees. Wanasema hata wewe hapa hukufanya vizuri, na wewe hapa hukujibu vizuri, na wewe hiyo uamuzi haikuwa nzuri. In that way, you are able now to gain insight into your own marriage. Then you develop new skills and understanding. Then you're able to move forward. And then you find yourself rekindling your love and commitment. And what happens? Now you can go singing all the way. Because you say, tulikuwa hapo. Hata watu wengine ukiwapata kwa shida unaambia, by the way, hata sisi tulikuwa hapo. Hata sisi Mungu akatusaidia. And then you can even be able to help them. Yes, mwalimu, as we conclude.
Kuna jambo lingine ambalo hapa huwa linaleta shida. Na hilo ni ukosefu wa mali. Pengine mmoja wenu alikuwa ameajiliwa, amefutwa kazi, ama biashara imefirisika. Part of the adjustment would mean that we look at our current income na tuanze kujiuliza, is this the right estate? Is there somewhere we can live which is cheaper? Is there something, if at all, for example, you have cars, na pengine kila mtu akona gari yake, can we sell one and we be using the other? So the issue of adjustment means emotional, it means even spiritual, it means social, even your social circles, na pahali huwa mnaenda lunch, if you've been going to Sarova, probably you can change to the nearby hotel. So what we are saying is that the adjustment is in totality, and accepting one another, and saying that yes, we have learned from the mistakes, and that those mistakes have been a lesson to us, and the marriage can end up becoming even better than it was before those challenges came.
Thank you. And that's why we calling it the best option, the contentment. And we are not only, this contentment is not from resignation, it is from where you have addressed the issues and charting the way forward. Nelson, the last one, I think we almost caught up with time, but I would allow you so that we closing remarks.
Okay, thank you, mwalimu. Sijui kama hata iko kwa part of our lesson, but I've been experiencing it severally. Yeah, most of the time watu wanatoa maoni tofauti kuhusu doa mimbi ikiwa imevunjika, na wanasema maybe walioana wakiwa wachanga. Let us give them time, maybe with the time wataendelea, maturity itawasaidia wanaweza reconcile na waendelee. But at the same time unapata people who has married 20 years 30 years unapata marriage imebreak. Others may say maybe ni mzee alifutwa kazi, biashara mama iliharibika, so ni shinde iko kwa nyumba. But unapata millionaires pia the same is happening in their families. Others pia watasema ni lack of education. Yeah, maybe level of education. At the same time we are seeing even professors and the PhD holders peer experiencing the same in their families. What is that in giant hitting the families? Marriages.
The issue is this. I think what we have come to realize is this. There must be commitment. It's not about education. It's not about wealth. There must be commitment to a vow. Okay? To a decision you made and hukusurutishwa. Hakuna mtu aliwekewa hapa gani. Oh, huyu lazima. Alafu nasema yeye afade. You would never know and deal like that. Okay? So at this time you can commit yourself and say, yes, I thought it was better and it was good. It can still be good and it can work. And with commitment, I believe we will enjoy our marriages as God intended. So thank you all of us. God bless you. Bye our viewers. Amen. Thank you.